Kak Amin, boleh kita mula Kak Amin?
Ya, boleh-boleh Puan Hafizah. Boleh-boleh. Dengar tak?
Dengar, dua-dua dengar.
Puan Sharifah, okey. Boleh kita mula?
Boleh.
Sekejap. Okay. Alright. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good afternoon to all. Let's start our webinar today by reciting Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. So I am Siti Nafisa binti Mat Rashid, a physics lecturer at the UiTM Cawangan Negeri Sembilan, Kuala Pilah Campus, and I will be moderating our session today. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who took the time to attend this event, particularly our guest speaker, lecturers involved in this CGCT, UiTM staff, and our dear students who enrolled FSG471 and FST318 courses this semester. Together with us, we have our distinguished guest speaker, Chemist Sharifah Nurain Syed Nasir, a senior science officer from the Solar Energy Research Institute, SERI, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. Chemist Sharifah Nurain is a trained assessor in chemical health risk assessment and hold a master degree in analytical chemistry and instrumental analysis from the University of Malaya. Her areas of specialization are chemical health management and chemical risk assessment. The topic that Chemist Sharifah Nurain will discuss with us today is relevant to our syllabus, which is the OSH classification, labeling and safety data sheet of hazardous chemicals, Regulation 2013, also known as Class 2013. So without further ado, I would like to hand over this session to our guest speaker. Hopefully everyone in this WebEx will pay full attention. And if you have any questions about our topic today, please ask at the end of the presentation. So Chemist Sharifah Nurain, this screen is yours.
Thank you very much. I want to share first my slide. Nampak tak?
Okay, nampak?
Alright. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Ms. Nafisa as moderator for today. Lecturers, UiTM, staff, and all of students in the class of this webinar. First of all, I want to thank you very much to Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, UiTM, for inviting me as a speaker today. The topics that I will share is about classification, labeling, and safety data sheet of Hazardous Chemical Regulation 2013, which also calls as Class 2013. I don't want to say that I give the lecture, but I can say that I want to sharing knowledge. I hope that my knowledge will give benefits to all of you. This is a little bit of my biography, but I believe that Mr. Nafisa will talk, so I want to skip this slide. Right. This is a learning objective that I want to talk about today. At the end of this session, participants will be able to determine, to explain the importance of chemical safety and to explain the background of GHS. I will explain a little bit about GHS and also to explain the purpose of Class Regulation 2013 and describe the scope and requirement of Class Regulation 2013. Right. Before we proceed on, then maybe you can see the boring part, which is the regulation. I believe everyone can see that it's part of the boring, or maybe can sleeping pills, something like that, right? So I want to attract the people, to all of you, regarding about the chemical accident that happened in the worldwide actually. And first is about the Bhopal gas disaster. Actually, it's a very famous, occurred in 1984. It's about around more than 30,000 tons of methyl isocyanate MSC gas leaking from pesticide plant in Bhopal. And you can see from the map, the orange color is the area of the gas leak because of MIC. This MIC is quite dangerous, especially for the health. So because of that, up to 10,000 deaths in the first 3 days and 25,000 people died because of this disaster. And based on the investigation, the lack of MIC is because of the safety device designer that neutralize the toxic discharge from the MIC system has been turned off, and the gas fire system also was out of action. And this is the true story already filled up. I mean, the field. They have a movie by a Netflix series, The Railway Man, The Untold Story of Bhopal 1984. I suggest to all of you to watch this video. It's very exciting and have 4 episodes. Right? The thumbnail, if I'm not mistaken. Alright. Next will be on the Minamata incident, which is occurred in Japan 1956. It's also famous in Japan because of the contamination of metal mercury at Minamata Bay, Japan, resulting in chronic mercury poisoning. It's because of the release of methyl mercury in industrial wastewater, and then because of food chain happened in the sea, they will suffer 2 million to suffer health problems after consuming fish contaminated by mercury. Next, the Biron explosion, Lebanon 2020. I think 5 or 6 years ago. I think quite famous actually. All right, about 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate was stored at the port, explode, and causing mass destruction that extend 20 kilometers from the port. You can see from the picture in the orange red color is how far the extended from the port that we exploit will be destroy all the city. And I think better investigation, the government of Lebanon also put why the ammonium nitrate was stored into very long time without doing the waste disposal of that chemical. Now we go to the Malaysia. There's a lot of the Japan, the Lebanon, and so on. In Malaysia, they have also famous, I think because of this issue, the OSH Act 1994 was gazetted. Because of the letupan Kinamuchul, okay, because the explosion of firecracker factory at Sungai Buloh 1991. I don't know whether this student in this webinar already born or not, but I already born because I was born in 1986, so I was 5 or 6 years old when this year. So this happened when the chemical used in the production of firewood innards causing massive explosion. And because of 26 people were killed, more than 100 people were injured, and hundreds of homes and properties was destroyed. And based on the investigation, we revealed that the unsafe handling and storage of flammable materials, and because of the not follow proper safety protocol and condition in the facility with deemed hazardous. Because of the issue, is we enacted the OSH Act 1994. And this I think recently, which is around 5 years ago, 2019, which is Kim River Toxic Pollution. It's because of illegal chemical dumping at Sungai Kim. I believe affected Pasir Gudang, and at the time, I think mostly all schools are closed within more than 1 week because of these chemical dumping effects. So based on the sample taken, the chemical presence includes benzene, alcohol, acronyl, chloride, and so on. So these all chemicals is a very negative for the health. All right. These are some example of the chemical accident that happen because of that chemical. So because of that issue, Malaysia was gazetted Akta Keselamatan dan Kesihatan Pekerja 1994, which is OSH, Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994. And then also Malaysia do the amendment on OSH Act 2022. Alright. So in the OSH Act Amendment 2022, they have lots of regulations there. There are 10 regulations there. And I believe because this class is guiding about the occupational safety health, and all of students have learned, especially in the yellow color, regarding about another part, notification of accident dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning and occupational disease, regarding about prohibited substance order 1999, use and standard of exposure of chemical hazard to health, and the rest. And today, I just only want to focus on the class, which is the name also, Classification, Labeling, and Safety Data Sheet of Hazardous Chemicals, class 2020. Okay, before I proceed on the class, I want all of you to understand why Malaysia gazette the class. We want to know what's the beginning, why Malaysia need to gazette the class. Okay, I make one example. For example, like when you buy anything you want to buy, okay, if anything you have one bottle, how you want to recognize this bottle? For example, that this bottle is chemical A. How you want to recognize this chemical A? Because of the label. So the label elements that we give the communication hazard to the bottle into the consumer. So hazard is come out there because it's any source of potential damage, harm, or adverse health effect on something or someone. You can say the hazard is like, is it flammables, is it irritant, is it can be carcinogen, and something like that. But how we want to know this hazard based on this bottle, this chemical bottle? So based on the label. So why? That's why we need to know, understand each level of the chemical. And number two, the element for communication is safety data sheet. Safety data sheet is mostly like certificate birds, or can I see the IC? Everything the chemical that appear and be produced, they must have safety data sheet. IC, so they have safety data sheet. So two elements that make as hazard communication is label and safety data sheet. All right, previously, what's happened, the problem in the world regarding about the hazard communication issue? I want to make an example. So this chemical A, B, C, all right, this bottle. When you do the test, the result for acute oral, LD50, they have number is 257 milligram per kg. What does it mean, LD15? LD15 means the amount of chemical through the mode of oral which cause the deaths of 50% of a group of test animals. And the test, they can give the cause of deaths. Alright, so this chemical, you can see they're quite dangerous because they can be cause deaths. But in Australia, the level just only harmful. Alright, in India, non-toxic. Japan, toxic, which is toxic is a very high compared to harmful, right? Malaysia just only harmful. And when it comes to the China, no dangerous. So when you go to China, you can go to the oral, you can use anything, without any proper handling, because it's not dangerous. So this what's the changes that happen. The hazard communication is not standardized, it's not standard to all the country. Same goes to the label. So you hope the label is like that, just only pangkah. Malaysia also harmful. Australia, batu korang. So it's a different pictograms. So it makes it confused. They have no standard at all. So these are challenges the hazard communication that happen before we get the class. So because of the inconsistent labeling, because lack of standardization, the SDS also vary in a very format. So each country have different format for SDS, and hard for employee to find out, understand the critical safety information, training issue, and also the regulatory differences. Therefore, United Nations will approve, will be against that, the globally harmonized system, GHS. Because this GHS objective is to enhance protection on the human health and the environment by providing an internationally comprehensive system for hazard communication. This connects the international level to standard all the hazard communication by using this GHS. And the scope of GHS only cover two, which is hazard classification, which is physical, health, environment, and hazard communication is covered two, which is label and STS. And these books, the GHS, also popular, we call it as the purple book. If you Google, you can see the purple books. So, based on this GHS, the United Nations endorsed thus Malaysia Gazette plus Regulation 2013 and ICOP CHE 2014 that according with GHS because that's issue. All right. So now everyone know because the issue of the chemical happened in the worldwide issue, then we have problem the communication of labeling. So United Nations Gazette the GHS, then Malaysia did on adopt based on GHS. That's why Malaysia Gazette the class 2013. This is why the Malaysia Gazette the class 2013. All right. So after the GHS, you can see because of the chemical ABC, the acute oral anti-50 257 mg per kg. So the result is acute toxicity oral category T, tiga, and symbol Agora. So all of country we use this symbol. So same, not only toxic, harmful, and non-legible alcohol. All right. Okay. Class 2003 is implemented on 2013. All right. What happened before that? So before that, Malaysia implemented CPM 1997. All right. This CPM, you can see based on this slide. CPM just only have 6 slides. 6 pictograms. All right. Compare this class, we have 9 pictograms. You can see the difference of the pictogram. But now the class is adopted from GHS. The GHS and class we use the same pictogram, which is have 9. There's a difference of CPM and class 2013. If we are consumer, when we receive the chemical, that the pictogram is not under class, it's under CPM, you can ask the supplier to take it back. You don't want to buy because it's not follow the latest regulation. All right, so now I go to the last point. I hope everybody now start to enjoy, to start excited, not boring at all, to know very detailed about what's the purpose of what the requirement in the class 2013. All right, why we call it a class? Right, because it's cited as the class C classification and labeling and as safety data sheet as 2013. That's why the short form name is class 2013, and you will be gazetted in effect on October 2013, and we regulate the supplier of hazardous chemicals for use at workplace. And I believe I told you before, the rationale of class is because to adopt of GHS into Malaysia legal framework. And this is pictogram that based on the GHS, which have 9 pictograms. And of course, class to harmonization of classification, labeling, and safety data sheet requirement in line with UN resolution. All right, these are provisions that have in the class, which is have 8 parts. Now I will talk one by one about this class. And I want to emphasize that class 2030 is a duty of supplier, not duty of consumer, duties of supplier. All right. So that's part 1. So the class is applied into the all chemicals provided for use in workplace. Any chemical have, so need to provide need to follow the regulation class 2013. And we just only exemption only for 1 radioactive material under ELX 1984, schedule with cosmetic or products having controlled drug and combustible regulation, chemical for R&D or for trial purpose less than 5 kilo. So which is less than 5 kilo, don't need to do that class. Manufacturing item. Manufacturing item is the physical finds, which is the product is on physical. If the product is chemical, liquid, then you go to the application chemical provided for use in workplace. And one more is food. Food also exemption. These are partially exemption because the partial exemption means that just only applicable in part 1 and 5 and 7 and 8 and not applicable in part 2, 3, 4 and 6. And this will be pesticide defined under Pesticide Act and the chemical in the transport which is stored in any storage area, which is transportation in the storage. All right. So this slide is like I can say summary or maybe the main point what's the duty of supplier did based on the CHRA 2030. So they have 5 the main things regarding about the duty of supplier in class, which is number 1, classification, packaging, labeling, SDS, and inventory. I thought we go before this, there's only for duty of supplier. So what type of supplier actually for the class? There are 2 types of supplier actually. The principal supplier and also the subsidiary supplier. So principal supplier can see be like manufacturer, formulator, importer, recycler, and reformulator. And subsidiary supplier just only can do for repacker, distributor, or retailer. So now I'll go to one by one. So the different is now is classification. So we can see that the different now the classification only focus on the principal supplier, right? What's the meaning of classification? Okay, I make example like the simple examples. You are principal supplier, you do the formulator. All right. So for example, like you want to produce chemical A, B, and C. Right? The name chemical A, B, C. So you need to have chemical A, you need to have chemical B, you need to have chemical C. Then you mix. All right, you mix and become A, B, C. Right? A simple example. Right? So if chemical A, they have flammable material, they can give impact to the skin. All right, chemical B, they can give carcinogen, and they can give you problem in eye if you touch something like that. And then chemical C, they have non-dangerous, just maybe water, something like that, right? So is it A, B, and C when mixed? Is it the chemical A, B, C dangerous? Is it giving impact to the flammable, or can give impact to the eye or so on? So that's why the principal supplier need to do the classification. The classification, they have guideline, which is referred on industrial point of practice, which is IPOP. IPOP class, we have guideline how to determine either the mix ABC, is it give a negative impact to the health or not. So they have guideline of that. So that's why the formulator, the principal supplier, need to do the classification because they want to buy ABC. They want to produce ABC and they want to sell everything ABC. So at least they need to have classification, the hazard problem on the ABC, right? So in case of inconsistent in the classification for the same chemical, Director General, which is DOSH, Department of Chemical and Safety UiTM Malaysia, may determine the classification of the chemical. And the record need to keep, right? I think around 30 years for the keeping the records. So this is the classification they will do. And the chemical classification, they have 3 types of classification, either physical, health, or environmental. So this, the category they already implemented. So physical, they have 16 category for physical hazard. Either is it flammable, is it oxidized, is it explosive, is it corrosive to metal, and so on. They have 16 that the classification need to do in the physical hazard. For the health hazard, they have acute toxicity in oral when you eat, the mark in the skin, inhalation when you inhale by your nose, skin, eye, mutagenicity, carcinogenicity, reproductive toxicity, to all impact for the health. They have 13 impact of the health hazard. And same goes to environmental hazard. They have 3. That's only hazardous to aquatic environment acute, hazardous to aquatic environment chronic, and hazardous to the ozone layer. So they have 3 type hazard class they need to specify. And based on the hazard class, they also have hazard category. For example, like flammable gas, they have Cat 1 and Cat 2. So Cat 1 is a very high risk compared to Cat 2. Alright, so Cat 1 is very high compared to Cat 2. So sector to health hazard also have the thing and also have category for each. Number 1 is very high compared to number 4. Same go to every hazard. So each hazard they have hazard category. So this was the job of principal supplier to do it when you do classification. And all this one have the guideline in the ICOR 2014. Now, after they do the classification, then they know the hazard of the chemical ABC. Now, turn is to do the packaging, to making the bottle, something like that, right? So, they can be either principal or subsidiary. Because subsidiary just money for the taker, distributor, or retailer. So, both of principal supplier will start on the packaging now. So, when duty of supplier do packaging, they must make sure that the design and constructor that is content cannot be escape. Tak adalah tertumpah. As strong and able to retain its content and are not susceptible to adverse effect by the content or form harmful or dangerous compound with its content. Alright, so the packaging also must be sealed and fastening. So make sure that all the bottle buatlah tumpah dan sebagainya. Alright, so that's only these are just only the point that you do for the packaging. Simple. Alright, next. This is very, very important because labeling. Labeling is part of the hazard communication. Communication you from the supplier into the consumer based on the labeling. Alright. So in the class also have the guideline of what kind of the labeling you must in the content in the chemical. So if size of bottle more than 125 ml, they must have 6 for information that we need in the labeling. First, your product identifier. You want to know, is it your chemicals one? Chemical A, B, and C. Your chemical name, flammable liquid, or so on. And then, second, supplier information. What kind of supplier? Because if anything happens, we need to call the supplier. Signal word. Is it danger or warning? The danger is high compared to the warning. Hazard statement. This, for example, they say highly flammable liquid causing skin irritation. So the hazard statement they can give information to the consumer. Number E, hazard pictogram. So this symbol is based on GHS. Have 9 pictograms only. And lastly, they have precaution statement. Because if, for example, like if skin irritation occurs, how is it to get medical advice, attention, and so on. So they have a precaution statement in the label. So if size more than 135 ml, they need to have 6 items in the labeling. But if the size less than 125 ml, there's only have 5 items, which is product identifier, supplier info, signal word, pictogram. Last, the statement only a read safety data sheet before use. So don't need have hazard statement and precaution statement, you only have because the size quite small. That's why there's only statement with safety data sheet before use, which is SDS. And the information is supplies need in 2 languages, which is national and English language. It's must in under class 2013. And if the signal word is dangerous, so the signal word warning must not be used because danger is very high. We use the high words in the labeling. And all hazard statement resulting from the classification to be used, except if there is duplication or redundancy. For example, like cause severe skin burns and eye damage is used. Cause serious eye damage is redundant, so we use the highest in both skin and eye. While the combined hazard statement will be used instead of corresponding individual hazard statement. For example, like fatal if solid or in contact with skin. Will be used instead of fatal if solid and fatal in contact with skin. So you can use the combination of statement. So they also in the guideline class. Alright. And also the labeling. They have standard labeling. then you have the black symbol. No, it cannot be red, green. I want to red. I like the yellow. No, you just only need to have in the black symbol in the label. And also the shape is diamond. They have 45 degrees and so on. So this is standard. So you can see all the label is standard. All right. So this label that we divide into the physical, health, and environmental. So I believe that when I talk the physical, regarding about the explosion, flammable. So physical hazard only cover on flame, flammable, flame over circle. It can be like oxidizing, right? Explosive bomb, right? Gas cylinder and corrosion to the metals, something like that. So this is a physical hazard, a symbol to grab. How about health hazard? Health hazard we have skull and crossbones. All right. Exclamation mark, it can be harmful, it can be irritants. Health hazard, it can be carcinogens, it can be germ toxicity, something like that. Corrosion, it can be corrosion in the skin, your eye, something like that. So this is a health hazard. How about the environmental hazard? They have two. Environmental has this symbol and also exclamation mark. You can see they have corrosion, they have two category, which is in physical and health. And the exclamation mark also have two categories, which is the health hazard and also the environmental hazard. So sometimes it's based on the classification of stuff. All right. If they have lots of symbols, so they have a rule of precedence of the hazard pictogram for physical hazard. If the hazard pictogram of exploding bomb, flame, and flame over circle, so you just only can use the exploding bomb. Set where both hazard pictogram are compulsory. So at least they have one, the highest range. For health hazard, if you have a skull and crossbone, so no need to do the fishing mark because skull and crossbone is very dangerous. If the chemicals is corrosion to the skin and eye, so no need to use exclamation mark. And if you use the chemical is health hazard or give the impact to skin sensitization and skin or eye irritation, so no need to use the exclamation mark. Use the pictogram of health hazard. So these are the guidelines that they give in the class. Right. Same go to the environmental hazard. So if hazard statement very toxic to the life with long lasting effect, so no need to use this only for the toxic to the life. We use the high dangers, the very high statement, and also combined statement. All right. So they also guideline dimension level. If the bottle or if the packet is small, so the label also small. If the bottle or the box is big, the dimension of label also big. So the dimension of label is depend on capacity of package. Anak-anak bekas besar, logo kecil. No, it depends on the capacity of package. Alright, so when not applicable to the label, due to the nature of the container, they will be used tagging. So we done on labeling. I think the most important part regarding about the the class. Now before we touch to the SDS. So what is the SDS? Safety data sheet. I believe that I told you before. It's because of this like certificate words or can CIC so by now. Alright. So before this, they have a lot of information there. They have no standard for the SDS. But because of GHS and CAS, we need to have 60 information standard. The number one until 60 is standard in SDS. The supplier must to fill up and to produce the SDS, the 60 information. I go to one by one. So number one, identification of hazardous. So they have info about the name, about the company, and so on. So they give information to the consumer. Number two, hazard identification. This is based on the GHS. So for example, like this, methanol, the number 2.1, the GHS classification is flammable liquids, occurrences to oral, inhalation, movement, and so on. So it's a give information to the consumer. All right, just sharing information. I'm a sales officer in UiTM, so I will be order the chemical, right? So when I receive When I receive the chemical in the supplier, I ask the supplier to give me the SDS. It must. If they didn't give me the SDS, I don't want to take the chemical. Right? So because the SDS is the duty of supplier to give to the customer. Alright? Because the SDS is very important because next certificate words. Alright? Alright, so number 3, the composition. Also, because for example, like this chemical A, B, C. So they will mention A what, B what, C what. So the composition also mentioned in the SDS. How about the first aid measure? So if anything happened, when you if you inhale, if you in case you skin contact, so everything they have to go to the guideline. For example, like after inhalation, you need to do flash air, immediately call a physician and so on. So they have guideline of that. Right? Same go to firefighting. If you're anything about they have thermal, so you got to use it SO2, ABC, and so on. Alright? Number 7, handling and storage. It's a very important part when I receive the chemical. Alright? So I want to know where I want to put this chemical. Right? So you can see, for example, the 7.1. Otherwise, because the methanol is flammable, right? So he said that keep away from open flames, hot surface, and sources of ignition. Take precautionary measure against that research. So means that I need to stop this chemical in the cabinet of flammable. I cannot do in the cabinet, no, they without any spark and so on. So this give information, especially for the consumer. Alright. Number 8, exposure control and personal protection. These are very useful for students, especially when you want to use the chemical. Even when you want to use the chemical, I ask the student initially, so in UiTM, you need to read your SDS first. Why? Because when you read on 8, exposure control, you can see what kind of eye face protection you need to use. For example, in this case, you need to have safety glass. Skin, what kind of skin you need to produce? You need to use multilateral and so on. So what kind of respiratory protection you need to use? When medical and also regulations are notified. So this information they give guideline for you as a user to use this chemical as a safe environment. Alright. So number 9, this is a physical competence, the physical information about the chemical. So it's about the liquid, is it the melting point, boiling point of the chemicals. They also because they have to do the test for the investigation, so the information they will put in the SDS. So same goes to everyone, and number technology, ecology, and so on. And the 13 is a very important disposal information, how you want to waste the equipment, the chemical. So they will be also guide in the SDS. So I can say that the SDS is very important. That's why the label, the hazard communication that I mentioned before, is there are two main important, label and the SDS, because they're very huge impact into the consumer. Alright, the SDR also need to be supplied in national language and English language, so they have both language. So in Asia, they have BM and English language. So I believe that in the UiTM staff also ask the supplier to keep in two language, national and English language, because under USH 2000 also the class, we have right to get two language for the SDS. And when the supplier need to revise SDS, right? When the new information on the hazardous chemical, if the chemical ABC and then add D, so need to do the SDS, right? ABCD. And then after more than 5 years, have the next day of preparation and revision. So it means that every 5 years, they need to revise the SDS. So me, if I got a chemical and I received the SDS 2005, so me, I will return back this chemical and give me the new SDS in 5 years later. So we need until 2020, until 2025. So you have right to ask them to give me the 5 years validity of the SDS. And also the licensing director of assistant Mrs. Josh. Alright. The last will be inventory. The main point is inventory. Alright. This is a duty of importer and manufacturer. Alright. The manufacturer. So in Malaysia, they will have inventory. What kind of the manufacturer doing in the chemical. So they need to prepare an inventory of hazardous chemical import or supply for 2. Quantity 1 meter ton and above per year. Each chemical that have quantity more than 1 meter ton and above per year, they need to declare in the inventory of chemical. Right? Because DOSH, Malaysia, want to know the inventory, what kind of chemical they have in the whole Malaysia, right? And how about import and export, right? So what information that they need to give to the DOSH is a product identifier, number 2, name of the hazardous chemical, number 3, composition and indicators of hazardous chemical, and number 4, hazard classification, and number 5, total quantity supply reported. So this is kind of the information that you need to give to the DOSH. And they don't need to give the hard copy, just only to the online. So the supplier need to log in, the SIMs, the website, and then do the inventory of the chemical, right? These are parts 7, right? Confidential business information. What can I give the example for CPI? CPI can example that, for example, like you are manufacturer, formulator, you want to keep your what you have done as a secret recipe, right? Okay, make it like a paint, Nippon paint, something like that, right? So you have lots of paint A, paint B, paint C, something like that, but you want to keep this ratio of each chemical. You want to keep a secret recipe. You don't want competitor, you want to know, right? So the class also have guideline to confidential business information on your recipe, all right? So CBI, you just only mention in your label, just only generic name of chemical. No need to give a full name of chemical, just use generic name. And also the ingredient concentration, just use only concentration range. For example, you use 27% IPA. So you just mention 20% to 30% IPA. So it's just you want to keep as a secret recipe. Alright. So this also give guideline into the supplier, into the engineering about the CPI. But you need to disclose the real information into the DOSH, Director General, Occupational Health Doctor, which is doctor, then if you have problem with the workers, if you have problem with the health, so you need to refer the Occupational Health Doctor. So they want to know. They need to they don't know what chemical they're using, and person will use or handle hazardous chemical, I mean in the factory. So they want to know so they need to discuss about that. And then the rest will provide the request in writing information used for the protection of the safety and health of the employee. Alright. And part last is really box. Because of the class, like I say you before the DHS, we put the class, so then we revoke the CPM 1997. That's why the beginning of the class 2015. Alright. So what's the penalty if the duty of supply didn't do it? So they also have need to fine 10,000 or maybe imprisonment term not exceeding 1 year or both. If for continuing conference, fine not exceeding 1,000 per day or part of the day during continuing conference of the convention. So this is a penalty that we give for the supplier didn't follow the regulation 2013. Right. So this is a summary actually for the class regarding about the regulation. So I have the task related to application, the exemption, the principal supplier subsidy, and the main task is classification, labeling, SDS, and packaging. So that's all for me. So before I proceed to the credit, I want to share some video. Maybe you can give the direction to our friend. Jangan. Siapa? Dengar ke? Dengar tak video tu?
Tak dengar.
Tak dengar. Saya share sekejap ya.
Dia stop, dia tak bergerak.
Dia tak gerak. Okay, kejap. Okay, saya share lagi. Ya tak? Ingat tak?
Okey. Video gerak, suara pun ada.
Alright. Alright.
Right. So they just already, cartoon, right? 50 minutes, I think give them a huge impacts because of the labeling of doing the satire, but they give information, very informative information to the consumer. So at least this class, I believe that's this only emphasize for the duty of supplier, but we, maybe as a consumer, right, we need to know what the types of the labels itself as can give the impact to give the benefits to you when you do the works in the workplace. I think that's all for me. Thank you very much.
Right, so thank you very much, Chemist Sharifah Nurain, for your very clear explanation and interesting presentation as well as video about class 2013. So we are now open to Q&A session. If you have any questions, please open your microphone or simply write the question into the chat box. So we open for Q&A session. Anyone who want to raise the question to our speaker today?
Maybe because of video, they are quite unclear regarding about the pictogram. Because the video, I think, gives impact on the pictogram itself, the labeling itself.
I have one question.
Yeah.
What happen if we use the expired chemicals? Is it become more toxic or it will give risk to our safety and health?
Yeah, actually, the expired chemical. So if you are a consumer, we have a right to give back to the supplier, or maybe if you receive, for example, like class, the supplier need to give the SCS 5 years. We mentioned before this. So mean the content of the chemical itself already do the lab test for the 5 years for to estimate the physical and material properties. That's why when the supplier give, we as a consumer give the expired, we have right to give back to the supplier because we need to have the latest chemical, right? Regarding about the experimental, all right. Sometimes when I do I'm a science officer, which is do the institution, research lab. So sometimes they will impact the results of the experiment. Alright. Sometimes if you are using for the chemical, for example, like acetone, methanol for the cleaning, maybe it didn't get impact if you use the expired. But if we go to the experimental, we do the doping, something like that, to get the result, the qualitative results on, sometimes they will give a very different result. So usually the expired chemical for the research, they do not to do it in the expired chemical. Regarding body health hazard, as I told before, in the SDS class regulation 2030, the company need to revise the SDS 5 years. So within the 5 years, they do the lab test. So they have toxicology information and so on. So that's why they expired, maybe they can give the impact on the health. Because if they have 5 years, the latest information in the SDS. Otherwise, they will, because the chemical, if the chemical expired, the SDS also expired. So that's why I think they will give the impact.
Okay. Any other question from audience? You can unmute your mic or just write down in our chat box.
kat mana nak type, tak jumpa pun.
Ada gambar.
Ada gambar
ada.
di chat tu.
Ada satu, well, we have one question here in the chat box from Muhammad Aiman. Nowadays, there's a household product to clean the sink. However, on how it looks, it will produce a lot of bubbles that seems like it is acidic. Is it really suitable for household?
All right. When we mention about the chemical, it can be acid or base, something like that. So I believe anything chemicals, they have properties itself, either chemical, either acidic or base or neutrals. So if we buy the product household that maybe in the label mention the acidics, I cannot say that we can buy, we cannot borrow, and we cannot use. If we can use actually, but we need to use the proper exposure control, which is very proper the PPE. So as a whole, so we need to maybe we need to have glove before you use the product to clean the sink, because you know this is acidics, right? We cannot ignore. I mean, we cannot say that if it's acidic we can buy, because maybe the acidics, the products acidic is make very useful for you to clean the sink because they have stuff, something like that. So what I mean is the chemicals, they're not fault at all, but we need to protect ourselves by using the proper equipment, personal protective equipment. So for this case, use the proper glove. I hope my answer this question.
Right, thank you for the explanation. Other questions? Cik Makno, ada soalan?
Ada soalan yang ni direct lah. Saya nak tanya doktor, sampai setakat ni kesedaran tentang chemical hazardous ni dah dibawa turun sampai ke sekolah ke? Belum. Sebab dia bukan nanti kita di tempat kerja saja kan. Macam tadi yang doktor jawab soalan tadi, kadang-kadang kita pakai di rumah dan sebagainya kan. Dah bawa turun ke sekolah ke belum? Itu je.
So actually, boleh saya jawab, kelas ni saya cakap tadi duty of saya lah. Tapi tadi saya ada bagi gambar satu slide, payung tadi warna merah tadi, di bawah Akta Keselamatan OSH Amendment 2022, they have lots of regulation there. Alright? Okay. Untuk tadi, kalau use 2022, use 2000, alright? Dia tanggungjawab majikan. So dia in the workplace, something like that. Alright? So untuk sekolah, sebenarnya dia bawa regulator on use 2000, bukan bawa kelas. So they have different regulation there. So untuk sekolah, saya antara one of team dekat UiTM yang buat CSR lah dekat sekolah. Saya admin apa yang Tuan Mana cakap, memang ada yang tak ada kesedaran lagi. Tapi Malaysia actually, dia produce sebenarnya beberapa guidelines, buku untuk sekolah, cikgu di sana dan pelajar. Tapi mungkin awareness tidak sampai lagi. So saya percaya di Universiti UiTM maksudnya ada juga ke arah CSR ke sana libatkan chemical safety. Tetapi untuk bahagian workplace itu ada tertakluk bawah regulation use 2000 bukan bawah kelas. Itu je pandangan saya lah mengenai perkataan soalan yang ditajukan ini. Saya harap menjawab lah.
Any other question? Right, so I guess there's no other question for our speaker today. So we now come to a conclusion of our session. And before you leave this session, kindly complete the attendance form using the link given in the chat box. In addition, we will hold a photography session. So please open your camera and deliver your best smile so that our secretariat can capture it. Okay, student, please open your camera.
Okey, dah rasanya.
Okay, sekejap Right. So dia ada beberapa screen here. So first, okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, next page. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, page 3. Okay, all right. So done. So I guess that's everything for today. Once again, I want to thank Ms. Sharifah Nurain for taking the time to attend this webinar session and share her understanding about class 2013. On behalf of the Secretariat, I extend my apologies for any shortcomings that may have occurred during this ceremony. So inshallah, we will meet again in the future. And with that, thank you to everyone.
Thank you, terima kasih.
All right. So for students, don't forget to click the attendance link and fill out the form. Thank you.
Terima kasih Puan Nur Ain.
Terima kasih, Dr. Amin.
Terima kasih Nafisah, Cik Makno,
Sama.
Puan Nur Hasmiza dan semualah yang sudi join.
Sama-sama.